this is your pilot speaking. We're currently flying at an incredibly high altitude at an amazingly fast speed. We should be arriving in beautiful sunny Hollywood right on schedule. Enjoy your flight.
Did you hear what he just said?
Yeah, enjoy your flight.
No, before that.
This is your pilot speaking.
Before enjoy your flight, but after this is your pilot speaking.
Oh, the stuff about Hollywood.
Yeah, he said that we're going to Hollywood. Excuse me. I believe I just heard the pilot say that this plane was headed for Hollywood.
He did say that.
That wouldn't happen to be Hollywood, Amsterburg, would it?
No, Hollywood, California. This plane is going to Hollywood, California.
Oh, man, Cal. We're on the wrong plane. We're going to Hollywood. We're going to Hollywood.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Kenan and Kel with Adam and Aaron. If you're keeping score at home, my name is Aaron.
And my name is Adam. And my name is Adam. As the second green screen version of me comes in.
And Adam, why are there two of you?
Because this is a two-parter episode.
Whoa! The second two-parter in Kenan and Kel history?
That is correct. The last one was about Kenan leaving.
And this time it's about Kenan and Kel getting lost. Almost the same as Macaulay Culkin getting lost in the great Home Alone film.
Yes, but instead of being lost in New York, they're lost in Hollywood.
That's right. That's right. Same exact premise. Well, not same exact premise. It's not Christmas, but it's the same premise. They kind of explain what's happening in this episode in the intro, right? Mm-hmm. Kenan's like, it's gonna be twice the fun, and Kel explains that it's two-parter. And every time Kel says something, ooh, two Kels go, ooh, aw, and so a little fun gimmick, but.
Yeah, the episode that we're talking about, I just realized we haven't mentioned it. It's All Here Goes to Hollywood, Part 1. Episode 8 of Season 4 of Kenan and Kel, the 90s Nickelodeon sitcom. How are you doing on this fine Christmas break, Aaron?
I'm doing okay. Doing okay, yeah. I missed my Kenan and Kel.
Oh, yeah, we had some time off.
Yeah, I had the Omicron. More like Oma can't touch me. Anymore.
Right.
And now we're back to normal.
Yes, until I catch it in a couple days or whatever.
I think the best cure for the Omicron, besides of course Kenan and Kel's
concoction,
Cold War concoction, is obviously orange soda.
Yes.
Nothing heals the body quite like a nice glass of cold orange soda.
It looks like it's straight out of someone's like a mad scientist beaker. Yeah. So as you mentioned, there's two Kels. I don't think they were green screened together. I think it's like a split screen type thing. You can kind of see where it like fades between them. It's
the first of a couple jokes that kind of are packed into this episode that aren't necessarily that funny, but are like amusing.
Yeah, amusing is the kind of vibe of these couple episodes. This might be. I don't want to start us off on a slow note, but this might be a low point of the season for me, like these two back to back.
Yeah. I don't want to harp on the. I don't want to be too negative. I don't want to make it seem like these episodes aren't well done or aren't fun. But yeah, they're leaving a little something out.
Well, I think one of the issues that like this beginning scene really speaks to is that what Kenan and Kel are doing right now, it doesn't translate 100% to the live audience. Like, we were talking about Bye Bye Kenan a moment ago. Having this performance in front of everyone live on stage, everyone's involved, everyone's at the same level. I feel like they do a lot of practice and rehearsing before they go on stage. For a lot of these live, like, you know, kind of on the scene scenes, it feels like it's kind of like a one take. We shot footage and we used what we had.
Yeah, right. And it seems a little less professional. And Kenan and Kel seem a little less professional. They seem a little less like the stage actors that we have known and loved over the past couple seasons, and they seem kind of like, you know, just kind of like sketch actors, like a couple buddies in the park, like, hey, like do this, like hey, have fun with that. And you know, where improv thrives a lot of times is like the open ends, but I don't know. It's just something about the way this episode was written and the different things that Kenan and Kel do throughout the episode, which we're going to get to. Yeah, just like not really doing it.
But let's celebrate the best stuff that we like.
That's right.
Kenan and Kel have a lot of banter when the two Kels, and Kenan ends the scene by saying, when do you get lost and when do you come with me?
Right. And then Kenan, which one gets lost? Yeah, and which one goes with you? Oh, here it goes, both together.
It's also like the one time that Kenan like comes back after leaving and says, "Wait a second, how do you guys do the thing where you split it and there's two of you?" Never mind.
It's pretty impressive, but yeah, never mind.
It's time for yet another radio station.
Yeah,
contest.
this is my favorite. Okay, so we enter in the Rockmores living room, and the whole family is crowded around this little boombox radio.
The brand name's on there. It's a dynamic bass boost.
I like that name. Yeah, there's such a contrast, right? In past episodes, there've been games, there've been like TV episodes, they've been watching movies, but now it's like old school. People sitting around a radio, like listening, and you're like, what are they doing? Everybody looks really bored and very sad.
Yeah, no, they're listening to like some terrible music, I have to say.
It's pretty rough.
Yeah, so Kel comes in and as the audience surrogate gets explained to what they're doing.
They are trying to win a contest. So they're listening to this classical, and it's not even classical music. It's like farm music, right?
Yeah, it sounds like farm animals, like something that might play on a kid's spinning device.
Yeah. And they're waiting until they hear the cowbell and the moo, because the first caller is going to have to answer a question and then have the chance to go anywhere they want in the entire world. The whole family gets to go. Yeah. What a contest. I guess this is, I guess people would listen in.
As we learn later, too, a week trip.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
That's huge.
That's a big deal. Who knows how much of the trip is paid for? But
actually, that is a very good point.
But
I'm sure there's several fine prints, and it's just like in plane flights.
Right. And, it's pretty obvious that we're definitely going to win, right? But how? How are we going to win, right? Because it's Kenan and Kel go to Hollywood, okay? And they're trying to win a trip. Ding, ding, ding. We hear the cowbell. We hear the moo. And then Roger quick calls. Everybody's waiting. Everybody's waiting and crowded around him.
This might be my favorite part of the episode, Roger on the phone. Because he starts off with this classic, hey, hello?
and then he's just like so flustered. It's like, oh, are you ready to answer or who's calling?
Oh, I'm Roger Rockmore.
Yeah. And then they're all cheering after he says everything.
Yeah.
It's time for the question.
Hey, are you ready? And he's like, I don't know, am I ready? And then everyone's like slapping him and yelling at him.
And then Kenan rubs his bald head. I like this for like good luck. Yeah, they're like, okay, so we're gonna ask you a question, and if you win, you get to go anywhere in the world with your whole family.
I want to say earlier they were getting mad at Kel because when he was learning about this, he's like, oh, can I go? And he's like, no, it's just for family.
Right. And then he's like, oh man, but I really wanted to go to Amberg, Europe, because they have an orange soda festival.
Amsterburg, Europe.
Amsterburg, a real place.
Yeah, it's clearly like a hybrid of like Amsterdam and something, but for some reason they didn't choose to make an actual place in Europe.
Yeah, they could have. Very easily.
I guess the way they portray it is not like a favorable way.
Right.
So maybe it's good. Maybe it's like, oh, it's in France, and like everyone there is like, mean.
Right. Yeah, that wouldn't be culturally sensitive. And Kenan and Kel are always culturally sensitive.
100% of the time.
Always, all the time. Anyways, that's the setup. What's the question, Adam?
Who invented string cheese? Great
question.
Yeah, and like no one knows in the Rockmores. They're all like they're stressing. Kenan is gonna go get the book, which is I guess what they did before the internet.
Go get the book. What book? Is it the encyclopedia with an S or the C? Is it string or is it cheese?
It's like the big book of everything, I guess.
Right. And nobody knows. And then Kel grabs the phone and he answers.
He says, the string cheese was invented by Francis P. Nottingham.
That's correct.
Yeah, and they freak out. They celebrate big. I haven't seen this much celebration since Kel won the lottery.
Yeah. It's a big whole family ordeal here. Everybody's like, oh my gosh, we're going to go on a trip. We're going to go on a trip. Cheryl's like running around in circles. Roger and Kyra jumping up and down. And then on the phone, you hear in the background, Cal still has the phone. Where would you like to go?
And when the Rockmores hear that, they like start discussing it amongst themselves. Did you like parse anything that they were saying?
I was just so shocked that they didn't discuss this beforehand.
Yeah, no, they had no idea. They were just sitting there listening to the music intently and didn't discuss at all where they're going.
Yeah, not even one, like, you know, you could decide in 30 seconds, you could like make a plan to go somewhere.
Yeah.
But no, they didn't even do that.
I think they mentioned like North Dakota, Paris.
Yeah, I don't know what kind of list is this?
Yeah. But what does Kel say?
Amsterburg, Europe.
Yep, for the Orange Soda Festival. And as he's saying this, like, the whole family's, like, trying to, like, chasing him and trying to kill him.
Yeah, that they're trying to put an end to this. But that's where they're going. It's decided. Boom. Signed, sealed, delivered. That's the end of it.
Yep. That's how it goes. Our next scene's at Rigby's.
Yep, we pan over Rigby's. I'm glad, because I feel like we haven't been at Rigby's in a while.
Let's see. Last episode, we were at the Graduates, where, we were there for, like, a second. And same thing with Natural Born Kenan, just a little bit.
Yeah.
So,
we haven't seen, like, a Rigby scene, though.
No. And this is a lot of Chris in these 2 episodes.
I gotta say, Adam, Kenan's wearing a great-looking apron.
Oh, yes.
We gotta tell everybody.
Yeah. I gifted Aaron with a Rigby's apron for Christmas.
The best gift I could have asked for. Probably the best gift I've ever gotten. Adam, I'm gonna get you a gray one.
Oh, great. Perfect. just by the apron, I've got enough letters left over to iron on.
Oh, great. Perfect.
I had to, pay it forward after you gave me the picture from last year.
Right. You still got that hanging up?
Oh, yeah. It's still where I put it a year ago.
Great. Well, so Kenan's playing a game. He's playing, like, the video game. We got the zoomed up picture of him playing.
We do not learn what the name of the game is. We just know that it's in an arcade cabinet called Video Games.
And Kenan got the high score.
Yep. It's a very impressive high score. And Chris isn't really, he doesn't appreciate it.
No, he does not. He doesn't appreciate it. He asks Kenan to get back to work. Kenan basically tells Chris that he just got the high score and nobody else is even going to come close. And then he does get back to work. Chris then starts playing.
Yeah. Chris says, big whoop, and Kenan goes, big whoop.
Right.
Like, very...
Right.
But yeah, Chris is like, how hard can it be? Puts in a quarter, and thus begins Chris's arc. Maybe it's not an arc. Thus begins Chris's MO for the whole special.
MO/demise.
Yes. Where he immediately dies.
And then he begins to intently play this game.
Mm-hmm.
In walks Kel in his blue camo jacket, which I love.
Oh, yeah. It's a good look.
And he's like, wow, Chris, that's a high score. You're never going to beat it.
Shut up.
Go away.
Yeah. Kel has like a little brochure and he's been breaking down like, the great things to do at the Orange Soda Fest.
Yep. They even got orange chicken for dinner. They got an orange pool.
They got an orange soda factory that they get to tour. And they also have orange soda that's flavored like grape soda. Or vice versa.
And then Kenan goes, does it say anything about a trip that my family would want to go on? It's it's like Kel won it for them, but then he chose.
And that's what he explains. He's like, hey, you wouldn't go on any vacation if it wasn't for me.
That's right.
Yeah,
and Kenan's like, oh, well, that's actually a good point.
Mm-hmm.
We zoom over to Chris. He's still playing and putting quarters in. He goes, I'll get you.
Kenan and Kel leave. And Kenan says, yeah, all right, I'll be back in a week, Chris. See you later.
Chris says, yeah, see you tomorrow, Kenan.
He's just already like starting to obsess over this console.
I would love to play one of these right now. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah?
I haven't played like an classic arcade game like that in a long time.
Last time I think I played was back when I was unemployed. There's like a couple weekends or weekdays that I went to visit Dad in Atlantic City.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah, and like you win like $30 at blackjack, and then you've got the boardwalk to yourself the next day.
Right.
Waiting for him to come home from work. I'm just like, oh, you mean I can just play however much Ms. Pac-Man I want for like $25 a pop? I am a god.
I'm going to dominate this game come 3 hours from now. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I was riding high.
I need one of those. I need one of those nights. So, anyways, we kind of leave Rigby's and Chris is in this. Yeah, he's in this like daze of playing the video game. But then in the next scene, where are we, Adam?
Next, we are at the airport.
Yes, I love seeing the pre 9/11 airports.
Yeah, we got to talk about that in context because it's. I gotta say, this aired September 25th, 1999. So,
Right.
like 2 years later, the world would change, and this whole process would be entirely different.
As in most things in this episode, right? Like who listens to the radio and this is the first caller.
Oh, yeah,
that's probably still a thing, but
The plane setup is a little different too. It's a lot looser.
the plane's there's like couches in the plane.
Yeah, it feels like a set, which it is.
Right. So they're standing in the back of the line, the security line. There's people dressed in all orange that says Orange Soda Fest, and they have face paint. They're face painted Orange Soda Fest. This one guy has it painted on his chest too.
Yeah, on his chest and like half his face, like Braveheart.
Before a cross-Atlantic flight.
Yeah, that's a good point. He put on this paint. He's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna sit in the plane for 12 hours.
Oh my gosh.
That sounds awful.
It's terrible. Yeah, because they're flying from Chicago.
They are.
That's probably like 10 hours.
Oh,
Yeah.
So I feel bad for that guy.
Right. Well, anyways, they're waiting in security, and then over the PA system, it says Flight 142 to Amsterburg is departing in 5 minutes, which is pretty scary because they're still in security.
Yes, but however, security back then wasn't nearly as long.
Right. Right. You
Yeah,
just kind of.
Apparently, you could also just run up to the gate and throw your tickets at the lady and go inside a door and you get on a plane.
Which is exactly how Kenan and Kel get on the wrong plane. But anyways, they're all kind of getting into an argument. Kel and Roger are going at it.
Roger's mad because we're late because Kel was so excited that he couldn't decide what cereal to eat.
And then Kel gets mad at Roger for yelling at him about being late. They all walk through the metal detector.
And who is stopped but Kel?
Right. Kel is stopped. Kel actually puts his bag on the conveyor belt, and then the X-ray machine reads it, like shows what's inside, and there's just 4 bottles of orange soda, which you're not allowed to bring on an airplane.
That's also entirely different. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't bring 4 liters of orange soda.
Although I would see Kel with like just a backpack full of like the little Fireball bottles, but of orange soda. Like little samplers.
Right.
So he's stopped by security and a very nice TSA lady. What do you think of this lady doing this performance?
She's great.
I think I wrote down her name here. Yolanda Snowball.
That's her name?
Yeah, that's her name. Yolanda Snowball.
Or the actress's name?
Uh-huh.
That's awesome.
And she's
Your
been
last name's Snowball. That's wonderful.
She's been like an extra and like done a bunch of minor roles on a bunch of different shows, including this caught my attention. This Is Us. She was on an episode.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I used to watch that show.
I'm aware.
That show is ridiculous. It's so sad.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like a fun time to sit down for. But
The
then
story fits together perfectly every time. It's like, how does the story unfold so well? Good show. Thanks, NBC.
Yolanda says to Cal, like, give me your watch. And he's like, I'm being robbed to help security. I am security.
Right. Oh. Well, why are you taking my watch? And then they have to explain to him about how the metal detector works. He goes, oh, sure. So he takes off the watch, goes back through the metal detector, comes back, beeps again. He goes, well, do you have any more metal on you? He goes, oh, my keys. He brings up like the janitor's giant keychain.
Worth noting, every time that he passes through and it beeps, like the Rockmores like lose it.
Yeah, they're like, oh, Cal. We've all been in this situation at some point, right? Like,
oh yeah, we all have.
Somebody in security just doesn't know what to do.
You're either 3 hours early or you're in a rush.
Right.
Kenan shouts, "Have mercy!" at one point, which I thought was fun.
Cal goes through again. It's like, any metal? Like, do you have more metal? And he just pulls out a piece of metal. And then he goes through again, and they're going, ah! And then he just empties out a bunch of metal that's in his pockets.
He's got some really good explanations for the metal that he has. The big piece of metal in his back pocket, he's like, doesn't everyone have a big piece of metal? Well, there's this guy named Jethro down by the junk shop.
Final boarding call for their flight comes on the PA. They're like, we got to get to the plane. And then the family goes, Roger, Cheryl, and Kyra go. Kenan stays with Kel. Bad idea. They should have an adult.
Absolutely. Kel pulls out a stapler. And he says,
this is my favorite one.
He says, it's for my mama, who's a brain surgeon.
You know, the cerebellum, you gotta, put staples on the brain.
Yeah, it's a great callback there to The Graduates.
And then he pulls out a slinky that's all messed up and just like other stuff. So Roger, Cheryl, and Kyra make it to their gate, give the boarding passes, and then they go in. Gate 39.
Correct. Kenan and Cal, Cal's like putting all his clothes back on because he apparently got naked to go through.
Right. And then Yolanda Snowball is like, hey, where are you going? She has a basket full of Kel's stuff that he just left behind.
Yeah, just a bunch of medals. I'm surprised it didn't come back into play.
Yeah, no, that's it. That's the end of it. So Kenan and Kel run to the gate, and Kel goes, that one. Okay, just remember this for when we go, whose fault is this?
Yes.
Kel yells, that one.
He also got them separated from the parents because they were in a rush.
This is all Kel's fault. Basically, they go into gate 38. They just open the door.
They've run on.
They throw their boarding passes at the flight attendant, run on, and that's it. They're on the plane.
Yep, on the plane. Oh no, seats A and B are taken.
Oh,
seats
no.
10A and B are taken.
They don't see their parents.
Yeah, so I wonder what this is all about.
When did Home Alone come out? Home Alone 2?
I'll tell you in just a sec. 1992.
Oh, okay. Oh, so, that's way before this.
Clear inspiration here.
Yes. For the first time, Kenan and Kel did not inspire another media piece. They were inspired.
Correct. Worth mentioning, I think this is going to come up a couple times, but shortly after this, they made Drake and Josh Go Hollywood.
Yep.
A very similar premise.
Pretty much the same premise. I remember that one.
I would say that one was a little more refined, too, and there's like a plot.
Yeah, bad guys.
Yeah, it's not just Kenan and Kel getting into mischief.
Guys printing money illegally, right?
It's a money machine.
Exactly. First off, they don't know they're going to Hollywood yet, so they take their open seats after being rudely kind of like yelled at by the flight attendant.
Yeah, she gives them like no time to explain themselves. She's like, "Sit down."
I know this mood. I have this mood when I have to deal with kids.
Yeah, right.
Just walking down the hallway, like I don't know, causing a scene. Like, hey, get to class.
We cut back and forth a few times between Roger, Cheryl, and Kyra, who are sitting in like the same seats on the same set, but it's clear it's a different plane.
Right, different people in different seats.
They lift off. They take to the air, and
Kenan goes, I can't wait for them to turn this fasten seatbelt sign off so that I can go find my parents. Kel runs over, starts to hit the fasten seatbelt sign. And this is the beginning. This is when I started to be like, oh, I really don't know if this is going to be a good episode.
Yeah, something we've mentioned before, the balance of Kel. You have to get it right.
Yeah.
There is way too much Kel being flat annoying and not a super funny way in this special.
Exactly.
So at him like smacking this sign, and once again the flight attendant lady's like, "Please take your seats," and he's like, "I want some more soda though," and just shouting and
yeah, it's just like he forgot his meds. Like that's not funny, Cal.
Yeah, it's not.
It's annoying. But anyway, so he just goes over, looks at the window. We do have a really cool close-up here from Virgil. Thanks, Virgil.
Yeah, Virgil's behind this episode. There's a lot of great camera work in
there
it,
is.
I gotta say.
Camera work's great. Yeah. So, and I think they can do stuff like that because half of this is on set and half of this is offset, as we're going to see. But so Cal's really close to the window and he goes, woo-wee, boy, are we high up.
And Kenan expresses that he's got a fear of heights.
Yeah, he's kind of like squirming. And Cal's like, man, look at all those people down there. They look like ants. Wait a minute, this is an ant.
Yeah, they got laugh out of me.
Ants on a plane? What kind of plane are they running here? And then he yells, "Hey, what kind of plane are you running?"
Yeah. And then Kenan's talking about how he's afraid of heights, and then Cal's like, "Wait a second, I'm afraid to fly." And starts screaming and running around.
Just keep screaming. When Kenan is explaining his fear of heights, I did like this. He goes, "I'm afraid of heights," and then he turns to the guy next to him, like across the aisle. "I'm just a little afraid of heights, not a lot." And the guy's like, nodding and
Nodding his
understanding.
head.
He's like, I understand.
Kel grabs the intercom and shouts in it, "Does someone know how to fly the plane?"
Yeah, it just doesn't do it for me. Like, this is not season 1 Kel. Like, come on.
It's also we just see this in a totally different light nowadays. You never go on a plane and want someone to make a ruckus anymore.
No, and if you do, then you're the bad guy. Mm-hmm. Well, I think you were always the bad guy.
This is also not the most trouble that Kenan and Kel have gotten to with a plane.
Not at all.
We mentioned the Cold War earlier. That was way worse.
Oh, is that the one where they
They send the plane to Nebraska.
Nebraska? Okay. That's what I was thinking. Kenan goes in the intercom, "Don't worry, ladies and gentlemen, there is nothing wrong with the plane." It's like, just stop. Stop. The anxiety alone.
It's like every now and then you see like that prank video of like someone like using the intercom at Walmart, and I'm like, this isn't a prank. You're just bothering people.
Yep.
You're bothering employees and workers, and just stop doing this.
Yeah, the stupid prank videos, impractical jokers. I hate that stuff. Just thinking about having recently flown international, there's a huge difference between the international section of an airport and the domestic side of an airport.
Are you saying that they're not the same gates? No. They were like one gate across from each other?
No.
Because there are two different planes, because they have to be two different sizes.
Yes. Like, there's so many nuances. But anyways.
Yeah, that's a very good point. I never thought about that.
Whatever. Anyways, they basically said, like, they go back on the intercom, like, we'll be arriving in Hollywood in several hours.
So, yeah, Kenan and Kel are just freaking out, because it's like, did he say Hollywood? Yes. I think the stewardess, like, repeats it, like, 2 times. Right. Yes, this is the plane to Hollywood. Here you go. We're going to Hollywood now. Here's your orange soda.
That wouldn't happen to be Hollywood, Amsterburg, would it? No, Hollywood, California. This plane is going to Hollywood, California. She's so over it.
Yes, she is. And so then we cut to commercial.
Yeah, Kel gets his orange soda. Kenan does the crying thing. We're on the wrong plane. We're going to Hollywood. I don't know. It's not doing it for me. I do like this part.
Yes, in this upcoming scene.
After they land, they're talking to the guy behind the desk.
Yeah, the one thing these 2 episodes exceed at are the extras.
The extras are incredible.
Not even like the celebrity cameos, just like the regular people that they talk to, because they talk to way more than usual, and they're all great.
They are all great. Yeah, this guy is specifically great. So Kenan is explaining what happened. Then the pilot says, "Enjoy your flight to Hollywood." And I say, "Tell him about the lady." So he said, I said to the stewardess, "Hollywood, Amsterburg." She goes, "No, Hollywood, California." And they're just telling the entire sequence of events.
Yeah, and the entire time Cal's like, "Tell him about the lady, tell him about the lady." And then at some point the lady behind us threw up.
And this guy is just kind of raising his eyebrows. He's like, "All right, fine. The next flight to Amsterburg is at 11.
And they're like, "Oh, cool, that's only a couple hours." Which makes me think, when did they leave? Was it like a 4 a.m. flight or something like that?
Yep, that's what it was.
They went to Hollywood, and then like in a couple hours it's going to be 11, to their knowledge. 11 a.m.
Yeah, I don't know. Everybody seemed pretty jazzed up for that to be a red eye. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think so. But anyway, then he says, "No, not 11 a.m., 11 p.m.
You're like, oh no, what are we going to do in Hollywood until 11 p.m.?
And Kel starts a trend of things that his fixation for this episode, which is, he's like, a lot of people live in Hollywood. David Alan Grier lives in Hollywood.
Yes, and this is the beginning of the David Alan Grier saga. I wonder how many times he says David Alan Grier this episode.
I tried to count. I lost track. In the beginning of this episode, he's just singing it continuously, saying it a million times. I want to say it's probably like at least 24.
At least. So let's just put things in perspective now. Kenan is like, okay, we need to get a phone. We need to call my parents. We need to like let them know. And so this is like, good job, Kenan, right? He's talking to the guy. He's trying to like get things situated.
Yeah, trying
to get a flight. Yeah, definitely. So Kel grabs the phone out of the guy's hand. He goes, "Can he call you back? We need the phone."
So yeah, just bothering more people.
Right. It's like, no, the payphone's over there. Away from me.
Mm-hmm. First thing Kenan does is he calls their hotel room, and no one answers.
Yeah, the Roger and Cheryl's hotel room. Which is smart. Good. He has a list of numbers, like, very good.
And we'll get to this in a sec, but when that doesn't work out, he calls Chris afterwards. So he's got again, to your credit, it's like no cell phones. You don't have, like, not everyone has a phone in their pocket right now. You need a plan B.
Can you believe this was just like 20 years ago?
25? Oh, well, yeah, actually 22.
Closer to 20 years ago.
Yeah.
That's insane.
So much has changed in those 20 years.
That is so insane.
Well, what's crazy is that if you said it in 1979, it'd probably be closer to those events.
Yeah, no, definitely would be.
Yeah, even though, like, the Hollywood is a big deal back then.
Right. No,
Yeah,
so
so-
much changed. Oh my gosh. I do like how Kenan and Kel, like, you know, thinking like big picture, they don't really use the internet that much. Like, they didn't think of like doing the phone call like near the internet, because like that's not how the internet worked back then.
Either you had like the internet at home, or you didn't have it at all.
Right.
So like that was the setup. There's no internet cafes yet.
No way. No way.
Yeah, you can't do it in the hotel or anything like that.
There's definitely no charging ports in the airport. Right.
No.
Right. It's crazy just how different it is. But even the phones, like the phone in this room that we
it's a
see.
payphone, yeah.
Well, yeah, it's a payphone. All the payphones are gone now. But then, like, the phone that he calls that ends up ringing in the hotel room is just this, like, old dial phone. Like,
Yep.
oh my gosh.
Yeah, so no one answers there, and then we get to see the scene of the Rockmores arriving at this hotel in Amsterburg.
Yeah. Like, oh, what a dump.
Yeah, it looks very akin to, well, speaking of Bye Bye Kenan, the home that they live at there. It looks like garbage.
It's falling apart. It's really old, dusty, it's small. And I am just feeling for the Rockmores here because, first off, they lost their son and his best friend. But then they're just in this dusty, dank hotel room. It's in this
In
random
another
place.
country.
In a random town in another country.
Yeah. Roger, first thing that is he puts his suitcase down on the bed and it breaks in half.
Yeah, the bed breaks.
Yeah. I think Kyra's like, and Cheryl's like, I call top bunk, I call bottom.
Roger, I got the... Oh.
Yeah. So, back in Hollywood, Kenan and Kel are talking, and he's like, what are we going to do?
We should call David Allen Greer.
He'll know what to do.
He always knows what to do.
So, Kenan calls Chris. What's happening right now in sunny Chicago?
Chris has not stopped playing this game.
Same outfit, his hair is looking a little askew.
He has the mad eyes. I like his stance when he's playing. He's got like
Yeah.
this wide like power stance, and he's leaned forward at the hips.
And you get the camera angle a couple times from the game's perspective, looking at Chris.
Yeah. Yeah, I like it. It has like the ceiling with those popcorn tiles, right?
Yeah. Some great work here by Dan Friedman.
Yeah. Oh, this is a great scene. Probably one of the best Chris scenes, honestly.
I think it's in the top 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he hears the phone ringing, and he like frantically has to leave the game to answer the phone.
Yep. And then he goes over and he goes, What do you want? Hey, Chris. Hey, man, it's Kenan. Listen, we're in Hollywood. We got on the wrong plane. And he goes, You interrupted me for that? Don't call me again unless it's something important.
His head slams down on that.
And then he sprints back to the game.
Yeah, it's really good. What I like it is that there's attitude and he rejects it, but the information that he gave him is just comes in handy just the same.
Right, because 2 seconds later, Cheryl calls. And I'm also, while the phones are calling, we have the split screen with like that we've been talking about this season, right?
Yep.
Now we got Chris on the right and then Cheryl on the left. And she says, first off, props to them for just being able to call Chris internationally. Like,
Yeah, it's a good deal, I guess what they have there.
right, they're local bodega man.
And Chris answers the phone and he says, "What?" Like with venom.
And he looks like he has a headache. He goes, yeah, he got on the wrong plane. He's in Hollywood. Now please leave me alone.
Yeah. So he hangs up on them. They're just like, Hollywood.
Yeah, a buzzer sounds, and then I was so close.
Yeah. So Kenan and Kel are like, well, we got 15 hours to kill. What are we gonna do?
Right. Meanwhile, his family looks very troubled. And so what are you gonna? Looks like they get some food, and they come back, and they're just like, yeah, let's do something.
Yeah, and he says to Kel, if you say David Attenborough one more time,
Right.
and then Kel's like, never mind, I don't have any ideas.
Right. Exactly. And then they're realizing like let's have some fun, right? Let's go some sightseeing.
This is the bulk of the rest of the episode.
This is the rest of the episode. It is just a montage with like 80s music playing.
Dun, da, 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 dun, da, 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 da,
Just like Showtimey. Yeah. And they are just driving around Hollywood in a yellow cab.
Yep, there's a guy. The taxi driver is wearing like a Hawaiian shirt, and you can see him like pointing out the window at stuff. They're getting like a really authentic Hollywood experience. Worth noting, this was not hard for them to do.
No.
This was filmed in Hollywood, so they went outside.
But they even went to the airport,
Yeah.
They filmed, they see everything. They see the different structures. They see the trees. Muscle Beach.
Muscle Beach. They got some sidewalk shows going on.
Yep.
They do a bike rental.
Yep, a double bike.
Yeah, they got a tandem bike together. What often happens in these scenes is that there's it's like the comedy bit's written like a palindrome. It's like you see a bit introduced early on, then by the end of the montage, you see it resolved.
Right. Yeah, it just keeps revolving.
They see a lady with a poodle.
Yep, they see a lady with poodle. They go to the boardwalk. They get these like hats and figurines, and they try on. Rodeo Drive. Yep, see the lady with the poodle and a man.
And it cuts to later on. Kel has that poodle now.
Yep.
He's just walking around with it.
And the woman comes by, and she's like, oh. My favorite about that, the woman, this like high class woman, she doesn't say anything to Kenan and Kel. She just like makes like facial expressions.
Yeah, it's a mostly, I would say, a silent montage, but there's some sounds, but it's clearly like silent comedy is what they're going for.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They end up in just all over the town, right? They go to Chinatown.
And then Chinese theater.
A Chinese theater. Who's out? What's this cutout, Adam? There's like a cardboard cutout.
Oh, no idea. I could not tell you for the life of me.
I kind of thought it looked kind of like Kim Fields.
It's possible. It could be downtown Julie Brown. She comes into play later on.
Right. Yeah. I don't really know who the cutout is, but
yeah, I could not tell you, and it's a mystery from now on. If any fans out there know who this cardboard cutout is, and here goes to Hollywood, please email us at KeenanKelPodcast@gmail.com or send us a Twitter message at KeenanKelPodcast.
Yes, please do. We continue our sightseeing. Where do we go next, Adam?
They go to like a clothing store, and Kel like somehow has ripped a pair of pants in half.
He's running around he's like being chased out of the store with pants.
Yeah. Then they go to Universal Studios.
Yeah. Wow. Look at that.
They go on the Jurassic Park ride.
Yep. The waterfall and the big splash mountain type thing.
Yeah. You see the clip like 3 or 4 times of Kenan and Kel going down. They're seeing like front and center.
Yep. They reel through it a couple times. They're soaked. I do like that Kenan and Kel actually got to have fun filming this.
Yeah, it looks like they had a fun time. I do find it crazy that the first 2 seasons were filmed at Universal Studios in Orlando, Florida, live in front of an audience. And when they finally go to Universal Studios, it's like 2 seasons later and it's on the other side of the country.
Is there Universal Studios in Hollywood?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's same thing as like Disney. They got the Hollywood one and then they got the Florida one.
Right. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, there's the giant shark from Jaws.
Yep.
That Kel gets stuck
Eventually
inside.
gets stuck in, yep. Animal rides. This one is just stupid.
They spent way too long on this bit, and it didn't really land for me at all.
No, there's like a tiger and a panda that you can like sit on, and it like moves around. They touch the tiger, and it just scares Kel. And they go on the panda, it's safer. So Kel sits on the panda backwards, and then he rides on it a little bit, and then they cut to him, and he's underneath the panda.
Yeah,
like they're just trying to have fun, but it's not well thought out at all.
I think we also, talking about the expiration date of this episode, we grew up in a YouTube era. Like this is a very easy comedy to do. Like nowadays, people film themselves just walking around and doing all kinds of funnier things than this.
That's true.
Yeah. And it also, I don't want to be mean about it, but it stinks a little bit in the sense of like come to Universal Studios and look at all the fun that you can have with your family here.
Right.
It's a little kind of corporate in that interest.
Yeah, and they just have like these two guys from Chicago here just like being amazed at Universal Studios, right?
It makes me think of what's it called? Sharknado 3. You remember that? They're like
No. If I remember Sharknado, I don't remember the individual movies.
There's a large part of the third one that like looks just like a tourist video for Universal Studios.
Oh man.
Like it's shot that way, and like it's like you guys are just banking so hard on this property.
Right, exactly.
Let's talk about the beach. They go to the beach.
They go to the beach. Yep. Kel digs a giant hole. They befriend this random man.
Oh, he's the taxi driver.
Oh. Okay, that's fun. Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. And they're like spinning around in circles with him.
Yeah, they do the camera bit where they like grab the camera and spin and circle. I like that. And then they have like floaties on.
They play with a kite. I think at one point, this might be the payoff to the poodle joke. Kel walks around a kid with a leash on.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. They end up with like an Oscar, like a fake Oscar.
Yeah, they've got to somehow obtain an Oscar.
Definitely real.
And it ends with them riding off on the tandem bike.
Yep. So they're riding off. Woo! The taxi driver's like, wait.
Yeah, he's like chasing them.
And then we end up at this little kiosk. It says Julie Brown Show.
Yeah, and there's like a Hollywood dude sitting there explaining to them like, why they should get this why they should get tickets to the show. So, do you know anything about Downtown Julie Brown?
No.
I learned that her name is Downtown Julie Brown.
What else did you learn?
She's half Jamaican, half British.
Okay.
And she was very popular on. She was a host on Club MTV. That like she never had a talk show. This wasn't a real show, but she is a real celebrity.
Okay.
So this is a fictional show hosted by a real celebrity.
Okay, that's cool. Mm-hmm. So Kenan and Kel arrive at this kiosk. They have these goggles on, and they find out this guy's giving away 2 tickets to the Julie Brown Show. They're shooting it, so it's from 4 to 6. And they're like, I don't know. We have to go get to our flight.
And he says, tonight's guest is David Alan Grier.
And Kel goes, David Alan Grier.
Does a backflip.
Do you think that's actually Kel who does the backflip?
Yes, I think it's really him.
It might be. Very, very likely.
We've seen him do multiple backflips. I think he can do one. I think that's it.
I think, yeah.
So, and we don't see him shot from like below the belt. So maybe there's a little springboard. Maybe there's like padding. Maybe there's something to help him out.
Something. Yeah, it's possible. But he freaks out, and that's basically the episode.
Yeah. They go back on stage again. Do you have this stage bit?
I do not.
It's not worth it.
I am just kind of disappointed at most of this episode.
Yeah, it's very light. It's very a light affair.
It's very light, and there's no conflict except for the fact that they get lost, which they kind of like play off as a good thing.
Yeah, they the episode's not about them having a bad time. It's just them having fun and getting into random trouble, which it's a little lackluster.
Yeah, I mean, I like Kenan and Kel when everybody's involved. Chris, the family, like, and they're kind of just like very supporting roles, but they're just like sitting in Europe worrying about them.
And it's tough because we have to give them like they get screen time, but they're all doing their own like side adventures. There's 3 plots in this episode. Right. Which is crazy, because Kenan and Kel can survive on 1.
Right.
So maybe they did that to fatten it up, but they're all like good bits, just each one's like kind of has a lot of fat on it.
Right. I mean, I think we're going to see when we do the next episode, I think we can pretty much condense them into one episode.
I would agree. And let's do that at the end of next episode. Let's like how would you pitch like the half-hour version?
Right. I like that.
Or the full hour version. So.
Or the 2-hour version.
The feature film version. It's Drake and Josh Goes to Hollywood, except Kenan and Kel.
Yeah.
And there's a laugh track. That's the part I hate about that movie.
Oh, Drake and Josh Goes to Hollywood?
No laugh track.
Yeah.
So just very awkward, very quiet.
You don't know when to laugh because Drake Bell's never been funny.
I need them to tell me.
Just kidding, Drake Bell.
He don't apologize to him right now. He's in a lot of trouble. The final scene is the cab driver shows up on stage with them, and he says, "Hey, you guys owe me $263."
Oh man!
And, I drove you around for like 8 scenes. Pay up. so they're like, he's just like, "All right, come on, the two of you, let's go back to Hollywood and finish this." And Cal's all, "Will we ever see David Allen Greer?" To be continued.
There you go, part 1.
Yep. 100% Kel's fault. No denying that.
Yeah, I mean, even the winning the trip is Kel's fault.
Yeah, right. They'd just be staying at home if it wasn't for him.
Right. Which, this episode honestly makes me miss the normal set and the normal Kenan and Kel. Like, usually when you go away, you're like, oh, fun, travel, right? Like, different episode. But I just kind of wish they got into some mess.
It's like they have you hear the audience like chuckling, and I feel like they're just watching footage. I feel like you don't have that live energy that the show normally has. Right. It's missed.
I think so.
So this episode on IMDb is rated 6 out of 62 episodes.
No.
Very, very highly. It cracked the top 10.
Oh, no.
Out of 10 bottles of orange soda, Aaron, how many would you give this episode?
7.
7?
Yeah, that's generous.
Yeah, I also put 7 because I was going over my list and I'm like, look, Kenan and Kel are generally good. I like some of the scenes, but like I'm putting it tied for my lowest grade this season.
It's not terrible, but it doesn't deserve more than a 7. I was thinking even 6.5, but I don't want to. That's like bad. That's bad. That's like something on the episode upset me. So nothing upset me. It's just not that memorable.
Bye Bye Kenan was 2 full stories. We mentioned it too. It's like these are like 2 disconnected episodes.
Right. And also like the last time, well, not the last time, but we had remember the scene in the one episode where Close Encounters, right? Uh-huh. At the end where he like runs naked across, and it's like
that's worked before.
Not on set.
Mm-hmm.
Hilarious.
The limo, it's worked before.
Right, exactly. So they can pull it off, but this one was just like, So all we can do is hope that the part 2 is better, but hate to say it, folks.
Tune in next week and find out.
Tune in next week, and you will get your full Here Goes to Hollywood part 2 review.
Before we go, I have a quick thing to share here. We got a review in December.
Oh.
From either AD Glover or ADG Lover. They say, I genuinely enjoyed listening to the podcast so much. Kenan and Kel is one of my favorite shows, and can finally hear someone else agree with me on why certain episodes are good or bad. I am bummed out that I only recently discovered this podcast, but I'm listening to all the episodes. Thank you guys for this. I truly love it so much, and the way you guys talk about the episodes is very enjoyable and great. I would say keep up the good work, but the series finale TV movie is weeks away. Still, keep up all the great work and wonderful episodes. Thank you. I love it all.
Oh, that's reassuring.
Yeah, it was a really nice message.
Thank you so much for that message, whoever you were. And thank you for listening to all of these episodes. I really hope it's worth your time.
Yeah, I agree. I've discovered my podcasts that like review TV shows, and I always appreciate them. Even if I don't care about the show, I'm just like, wow, thank you for talking about every episode of Danny Phantom. This is really a great thing that you're doing out there.
We need, I mean, listen, these shows, even 22 years ago when this was created, right? Mm-hmm. So much effort goes into every step of the process. And why not give it a review? Why not listen? And so, talking about it for an hour, that's the least we can do. Right?
I think we felt guilty about it, like kind of early on. We're like, this is only like 24 minutes of content.
Right.
And we're going to talk about it for like twice the length and more.
Right.
But no, that's how dense and good these productions are.
It's true. And so while this episode wasn't quite what we were hoping for, the amount of effort that went into the production of it, it's like, think about the traveling crew they needed. Think about like all the parks they had to go to and the routes. And so it was definitely fun for the production team.
That's the thing. Even though they're filming like, right outside, filming in Hollywood ain't cheap.
It's not cheap, and it's not easy. They're on the beach. That's got to be hard. How do you film on the beach?
All the equipment in the sand?
Yeah,
are you kidding me?
Right.
Yeah, so I appreciate them doing something different. I just wish it was a little better.
Yeah. So,
So,
well, we'll see how part 2 shakes out next week. Thank you, everybody, for your support and reviews. We'd love to hear from more of you. Until then, to be continued.
thank you for listening. You can send us an email at KenanCalPodcast@gmail.com or leave us a voicemail at anchor.fm/KenanCalPodcast. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all at KenanCalPodcast.